So this year, because Tishah B'av falls out right after Shabbos, there can be some unique halachos that we don't get every year. So some of the things just to be aware of. What are the changes? What do we have to be aware of? So one of the primary issues that we're going to deal with is that Shabbos ends at nightfall, 3 stars, while Tishah B'av technically comes in at Shkia, at sundown, which is earlier. So when do we start Tishah B'av exactly? Tishah B'av and Shabbos don't exactly go together. So when does it all begin? So to keep it simple, the halachos are on Shabbos, there's no mourning, but there's no public display of mourning. Okay, Shabbos ends at 3 stars, when it's dark, okay? But that's only public displays of mourning, while mourning that's not a public display can actually start earlier. So here's what practically is going to be the case. All the things that we don't do on Tishah B'av, we're going to stop at sundown, okay? We're going to stop at sundown, except for 2 things. Okay, so in other words, at sundown, on Shabbos, at sundown, it's going to be, I don't know what time, it's going to be around 7:40 or so. We are going to stop eating, stop washing, stop all the different things that go. However, we will still wear regular shoes because wearing shoes of Tishah B'av, for example, wearing slippers is a public display of mourning. That we will continue. We will not wear these Tishah B'av shoes until it's actually 3 stars, until Shabbos is actually over. Okay, so that's one thing that's going to change. So we'll stop eating. In other words, usually shalosh shados you can eat as late as you want. Right here, you're going to have to stop at sundown. However, you will not change to Tishah B'av shoes just yet. And the other thing you're not going to do just yet is sit on the ground. We know that Tishah B'av, we sit on the ground from the night till the day till midday. Right? We're not going to be sitting on the ground because, again, sitting on the ground is a public display of mourning. We're not allowed to do any public displays of mourning. So that's going to be basically the only difference. So we stop eating again, washing, all the different things, using creams or whatever. That's all going to stop at Shkia, at sundown, while the other things we'll be able to still wear our Shabbos shoes, etc., Shabbos clothing till 3 stars. Now, another thing that we don't do on Tishah B'av is we don't wear Shabbos clothing. Actually, the whole 9 days we're not supposed to wear Shabbos clothing. So what about when Shabbos is over? So normally what's going to happen as soon as Shabbos is over, we'll say Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'Chol. Shabbos is now officially, as far as we're concerned, we made a division. We already made our Havdalah, so to speak. Then we will change out of Shabbos clothes, put on weekday clothes or whatever it is you're going to wear on Tishah B'av, and you will put on your Tishah B'av footwear, and that's going to be, and from that point forward, you'll be sitting on the ground. Okay, makes sense? Okay, so that's the first event that's going to be this year that we don't have every other year. In terms of Shabbos afternoon, so there are actually certain halachos that typically do occur even on a regular Erev Tishah B'av that we don't do even from the afternoon, from midday. We don't do certain things like going for strolls or getting together with friends and things like that. So, being that if you would refrain from that on Shabbos, it wouldn't be a public display of mourning. You should actually do that as well. So on Shabbos afternoon, better not to take strolls, not to get together with friends. You can have your regular shalosh shudas like normal, as long as it's not a public display. You can have your regular shalosh shudas. If you normally have guests, that's fine. If you don't normally have guests, then no guests, right? Do whatever you normally do and end at Shkia, and that's all you have to remember. You have to stop at Shkia. In terms of benching, you could bench after Shkia. Okay, you can do that. There's no Suda Mafsekes. Usually on Erev Tishah B'av, we have a whole Suda, a special meal where we eat bread and the egg and the ash. You sit on the floor. None of that on Shabbos because all that is a public display of mourning. Shabbos, Shalosh Shudas, you have a regular Shalosh Shudas. The only difference is you stop at sundown. Okay, what else do we need to know? Here's an interesting halacha. Taking pills. Some people like to take pills before a fast. Right? Taking medicine on Shabbos is problematic altogether, unless a person is truly ill, ill and sick in bed. So what do you do if you want to take pills before the fast to make the fast easier? So it's actually problematic halachically as far as Shabbos goes. One of the solutions are, as long as it doesn't look like you're taking a pill. In other words, if you would take that pill, grind it down, preferably before Shabbos, and put that into some kind of food or some kind of drink, and drink that down so it doesn't look like it doesn't look like you're taking a pill, that would be a solution. And the other solution is on Tishah B'av, you're allowed to swallow bitter tasting pills. Nothing wrong with swallowing and Tylenol and things like that. Advil might not be bitter. Advil's kind of sweet. I don't know if that counts. But the other pills you can swallow on Tishah B'av, certainly if you don't need water, it's certainly not a problem, and that would be a solution as well. One more thing to bear in mind is Havdalah. There's no Havdalah Motzei Shabbos, right? Because it's going to be on Tishah B'av. You can't make Havdalah. We say a Baruch HaMavdil before we get involved in any kind of malach or even changing into shoes and all that. But there's no Havdalah, no formal Havdalah. There is a blessing on the candle, just the candle. So we'll do it right before Eicha. That's the typical custom. But there is a blessing on the candle. If you're not going to be in shul or whatever, you make a blessing on a candle. But that's it. Havdalah is going to be Sunday night after the fast. It's just the Bori Pri Hagafen and the Hamavdil. That's going to be Havdalah Sunday night after the fast. If a person, for whatever reason, is not fasting, he would have to make Havdalah before he eats. Right? That's a unique scenario. So if he's not fasting because he's sick or whatever, he would make Havdalah, he or she, whatever, would have to make Havdalah before they eat. If all they're doing is drinking water, You don't need Havdalah for water. So you can drink water before Havdalah, and that should be sufficient.
What's the schedule?
The schedule, so we're going to start we're not going to have a mincha, basically, because mincha, it would require coming and going. We're not going to have a shalosh and all that. We're going to have a mariv that's going to start like 15 minutes or so. I put in the schedule, 15 minutes or so after Shabbos is over. So it gives people sufficient time to say Baruch HaMavdil, change. It's going to be at the Becker's residence. So yeah, so it's going to come.
Are we doing it in the morning?
The morning, yeah, he's going to be here that morning.
Here
Yeah,
at what time?
I think 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, take a look at your emails.
That's tefillin, right?
There's no tefillah until mincha. So on Tishah B'av, I don't remember what, I think it's 7:15 or so. Yeah, check the schedule, I don't remember everything. But yeah, we do, on Tishah B'av, we do tefillin at mincha, and we don't do talis or tefillin in the morning on Tishah B'av.
Becker's is,
69.
no, I know, but I mean,
Tishah B'av, yeah, Mariv, and then the Tishah B'av Eicha and all that. It's going to be at the Beckers. Okay.